This is Mark Kleckman, Chair of the Newbury Human Resources Board. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Diane Doyle,
Here.
John Ferrara,
Here.
Tony Antico,
Here.
and Chief Lucy is indisposed at the moment at an accident scene. We assume that he will not be joining us this afternoon, but we do have a quorum, and so the meeting can be considered official. I do not believe we have any other anticipated speakers on the agenda. Let me then move to introduction of the remote meeting. Good afternoon. This open meeting of the Newbury Human Resources Board is being conducted virtually, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, and the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. The order, which you can find posted on the town's website, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. And Diane, just to confirm, the meeting was posted appropriately on the town's website with a 48-hour waiting period.
It was.
Thank you. Ensuring public access does not, however, ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will not feature public comment as it is not a public hearing. For this meeting, the Newbury HR Board is convening by Zoom meeting link as posted on the agenda of the town's website. In terms of meeting materials, all the materials for this meeting, except any executive session materials, are available on the website. And we recommend the members and the public follow the agenda as posted on the website. Onto the meeting business ground rules. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, I will get down the list of board members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking. I think we can dispense with that. And also, please remember to speak clearly and in ways that help generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and be sure to state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in dialogue with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to properly identify yourself. And finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. With that in mind, let me turn to the first item of business, which is to approve the prior minutes, the prior meetings minutes, which is the meeting of September 28th, 2020. I'd ask if, has everyone had an opportunity to go through those minutes, or if not, we can take a couple of moments now to do so. Tony, John, Diane, have you folks had a chance to go through them?
Yes,
Yeah.
I have.
Okay. Any questions, comments about the minutes?
Not from myself. No, thank
With
you.
that in mind, is there a motion to accept the minutes as written?
Is a motion?
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? The only
Not
two
for me.
quick questions I have, and perhaps you can speak to this, Diane. We were holding, in terms of personnel actions and job vacancies, last month, we were holding on what we hoped would be a hire for the COA director, hopefully putting that person in place by mid-October. Can you give us an update as to what's happened there?
Okay, did you want to do a roll call vote since we had a motion and a second?
Well, we're in discussion.
Oh,
We're
okay.
not accepting them. We're just in discussion now after the motion to accept, and then a second, then we go to questions or
Okay, so
comments.
you
and then
you
we
just have a
vote.
question on that?
Yeah, yeah, I just want to ask a quick question.
So it
about
was
whether-
filled. It was filled. She started October 19th.
October 19th, great. Everything
I
is in
can
place.
update you when we get to that point in the
Okay.
agenda.
Thank you. And then secondly, Diane, further down, we talked about you providing an update on the postings at the next meeting. This is the postings that
Yep,
Tony was referring to regarding
Yes.
the FFCRA.
yes. And so I have an update on that when we get to that point.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or commentary about the minutes?
No.
If not, let me take a roll call vote. We have a motion to accept and a second.
Second.
Diane Doyle,
Yes,
Anthony Antico,
Yes.
John Ferrara,
Yes.
and Mark Leckman, yes. Thank you. Next order of business is employee issues. Diane, if you'd like to lead us off there?
I'm not aware of any employee issues. I think under item 4, I could give you an update on the personnel actions and job vacancies.
Okay. I'm not aware of any personnel employee issues as well. I've not heard from Chief Lucy relative to his awareness of any, so we'll assume that's all set. Next item of business is personnel actions and job vacancies.
Okay, so if I'm referring to the minutes, so Jason DeCipio has joined us on October 5th as the new principal assessor, settling right in. So that is moving right along, and we seem to be, he's got extensive experience from the city of Amesbury, town of
Right?
Amesbury, and seems to be, settling right into his role here. As you had asked, the COA director has been hired, Cynthia Courier, and I have a personnel action form for you to sign. She
Okay.
started on October 19th, which was just last week, as the COA director. And Maggie Malley has stayed on board to sort of help with that transition. So they've been meeting since last Monday to kind of go over, protocols, responsibilities, and meetings and so forth. So that's been nice
Right.
to have Maggie still here to assist in the transition. Cynthia comes from a VNA care background. She does not have municipal experience, but seems excited about the opportunity, and so she's settling in after a week. And I know that the plan was that once she was on board, that they would be looking to fill that program manager, program director, program coordinator,
Right.
excuse me, position.
Right. I assume, given her VNA background, that she probably has a wealth of experience dealing with senior population.
Yes. So, so she's on board and that's been filled. And then the last thing is we did hire a youth services librarian, and she started on the 14th. So we've had a pretty robust October with
Great.
new hires and new people coming on board. So Katie comes from, I believe she just graduated from school and has had some experience with some nonprofits and so forth. And so she is the new part-time youth services librarian under the director, or youth services technician under the youth services librarian. So she seems like a nice addition as well. So I think we're getting to the point where we're, filling all of our positions and getting
That's
back
great.
to full staff.
That's great. Good to hear that. Regarding the COA director role, I'm trying to remember if it was part of our discussion last month, or I'm confusing it with another conversation I had, but was there some talk about the possibility of looking at that job description and determining whether it needed to be updated, broadened, just tweaked in some way, or I may be confusing that with another? Anything you're familiar with there, Diane?
Not that I can remember. No.
Okay, I may be confusing with something else. I'll double check with town administrator on that.
No,
Okay.
not that I'm aware of, not that I was, sent any sort of
Yeah.
charge to update that.
Okay,
So we've been pretty busy in October, getting people on board and getting them started. So
great, good job.
I think at this point, I can't think of any other positions that we have open, or that are pending.
Okay, and as far as you know, John John Lucy, the chief is in good shape relative to any roles that need to be filled in the PD or? Separate
I,
jurisdiction?
I'm not aware of it. I know that they did go through a hiring period where they brought on a few new dispatch personnel.
Right.
To be able to build up that role so that they weren't using reserve officers to then compensate for filling the dispatch positions. So I believe they now have 5 or 6 dispatchers. But as far as any other plans at this point, I'm not aware of any.
Thank you. Appreciate
I
it.
did happen to take a ride by the new police station, and it's really coming along. I like
It is.
the way it looks and the colors, and it seems to fit on the site well. And just as a side note, it looks, I hadn't driven by in quite a while, so it's coming along nicely. Oh, there you are.
Yeah, Cindy and I go by there daily, and so once a week we turn down Morgan Avenue as well. I would agree. Now that it's tight to weather, now that the shingling is up, a little bit of landscaping done. Certainly not. It doesn't make it a tiny building, but it certainly, I think, creates more of a scale for the neighborhood. And I really enjoy riding by it as well.
Yep.
Beautiful job that they're doing.
Yep.
And I think that's, did I remember reading or hearing that they're hoping to, is it occupancy maybe late December, maybe just before the holiday, or?
I think that was the original
Anyone heard
plan,
that?
but I'm not aware of any updates on that, but.
Yeah, I think December 20, the date sticks in my head, but I'm not sure if that's
Yep.
that's accurate or not. But in any event, yeah.
In any event, I don't know of any other police plans for personnel at this point, but
Okay.
I
Thank
think we're in good shape. We've had a lot that Tracy's had to sift through and get in place. So.
Yep. Thank you, Diane.
Yep.
I'm not aware of any discrimination and or ethics issues that have hit
Nope.
the board. Safety issues.
None that I'm aware of.
It's been now maybe 6 weeks since the newest protocol was put in place regarding town hall. Diane, can you speak to whether that's gone smoothly and any issues?
I can only sort of speak from my perspective here in the treasurer's office and also on the first floor of town hall. We continue to get folks that will call us that either need to come in and make cash payments, or they need to make special arrangements to drop off payments. We've been able to accommodate those. We are also getting ready to install a locked box outside the treasurer collector door for any payments.
Right.
It seems as though this will continue for a little while longer, so we're going to be installing a box for payments. The
Good.
town hall is officially closed, open by appointment only, but open on the first floor for voting,
Right.
for early voting. So we do have a stream of people that are, coming in the town clerk door to cast their votes and drop off ballots, etc.
And where does that voting take place on the first floor?
So it's on the first floor. They come straight into the town clerk door, and there is a path where they go just strictly into a conference room and or standing booths. But
Okay.
we've been quite busy. Had not had any complaints or issues. We really haven't had a long line. So it seems like it's a steady stream of people.
Good. And everybody's been complying with mask ordinances and the
Mask,
like.
yep, mask ordinances, and seems to be pretty smooth. I haven't heard of any issues with that. Little hard to say we're closed to the public but open for voting, but other than that, that's why I say when someone comes in and says, well, I want to drop my payment off, I'm here to vote, we sort of make it work for them. But really, I'm not aware of any issues here on the first floor that we've had.
Right. And will that first floor voting opportunity stop on election day when people will be required to either the library or the fire station?
Yes, so it's open for voting, early voting. Extended polling hours have been on the weekends, so there has been somebody here on the weekends from 8 to 12, I believe, Saturdays and Sundays, entertaining folks who want to vote on extended polling hours. But the early voting will end on that Monday, November 2nd.
Okay.
And then it will strictly be at the polls at this point. We also have a ballot box I know this is getting off topic a little bit, but we have a ballot box that was installed out in front of Town Hall here at 12 Kent Way for folks to drop off. So we've
Right.
been very busy with that.
Okay.
But doesn't seem to be impeding any sort of, or presenting any sort of
Great.
safety issues or COVID related, questions or concerns.
Yeah, I mean, I think it all fits under sort of a general umbrella of safety issues or safety concerns. We want to make sure that both the public and also the employee population are comfortable with the protocols that the town has put in place to keep everyone safe and secure. So glad to hear it's working smoothly. That's super. Okay, thank you. No other safety issues.
Nope.
Other issues, we've got the organizational chart. I know that the subcommittee met, I think it was last week, if I'm not mistaken. So John Farrar, would you like to give us a report on the results of the subcommittee meeting?
Well, we went over two elements, and that was to reach out to the department heads with a notification. And I think Diane and Tracy are of the opinion that we should reach down to the month of December and give them plenty of notice. So I think Tracy will go out early December to give them a heads up to report on their particular website. And I think we came to the conclusion that to design a proper organizational chart, we came across some extraordinary information on the internet. And some of the most extraordinary pieces went so far as to say, how do you build it? And what should it look like? And it's a matter of two things, of how to construct it, what should it look like, where should it take you? And it should allow you to drill down, never leave the site, and always come back to home plate, and where you can begin new research and new drilling down. And then an assortment of questions. What do people want to ask? And list them. Within the organization chart, it ought to have two elements. What do I need to do? Be one. And the other would be most often asked questions. And on that particular website, other than the parochial ones for that particular township, there isn't a single one of those questions over the last 45 years of living on the Lower Green that I have not asked somebody.
Yeah.
And right up to last week, where's the hazardous waste day for this year? And it turns out, with a health department note to me, there is not going to be one. So I have to find out what to do with all of my brown boxes in the basement.
Right. Okay. So it sounds like you made good progress then.
We did, and we had the chief was also available to give us a sense of what we can and may do on the current platform. There's one platform I shared directly with Tracy called Smart Draw, which is the one that had the most element in advice, and literally down to how do you do it, and start here. It's all free. And I think she did her own drill down and was of the opinion that is really an extraordinary site.
Good, thank you.
Yeah,
I was going to say, Diane and or Tony, I know you're both involved. Either one of you care to comment further or add any additional thought?
Tony, you want to go?
Yeah, the chief was talking about coordinating with the IT, with Sue, the IT person. Because what I think what we're looking at is basically taking the town website and generating its own organization, if you will. You just don't have to go in and reinvent the wheel, as we were discussing. The organization, if you look at like, for example, the departments, it's already laid out in the website. So we have all the departments listed, and we have boards and committees listed, and the other stuff, the other sections of it are relative to specific town functions, etc. Not really advising or suggesting things to department heads or whatever, or committee chairman, to look at. So the chief was saying that it mostly should be town oriented, computer oriented. He was talking about setting up links in some of these areas. So it's not something that you have to go through and make separate organizations, in the town. We already have it there. We
Right,
just have to, I think, probably get more close into some of those areas and list who does what, put the questions, several of which John had just mentioned, put the questions right in. So it's a website phenomenon kind of thing. So,
I would agree and make one additional comment, is that I think we came to the conclusion that the organizational chart ought to be a single page. And it ought to be easy to read, and
Yep.
it will serve as a table of contents for what is already a very, very capable website that the town of Newbury has. And I
Right.
use the police department, which is the most complicated department throughout the city that we have, and how well that outlines all of their jurisdiction and their requirements, all the way from medical aspects to police aspects, and all of the continuity that represents.
right, right.
And
So it sounds like it's a combination of a comprehensive view of the town, its different functions, its different departments, its roles and responsibilities, but at the same time, it will be a user-friendly mechanism by
Mhm.
which any member of the public, any layperson can click accordingly. It's easy to follow instructions, get you where you need to be, answer the questions that you have.
And so Roger.
Yeah,
Right.
Great, great. Diane, anything? Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, no,
both.
I think they both summed it up pretty well. I think we have a clear understanding of what she's looking for at this point. I think, Tony and John have both pretty much detailed it. I think keep it simple.
Okay.
Basically, it's, draft the organizational chart as we see it from a flyover view. And then from there, we can link the individual functions that appear on that organizational chart to the actual web page within the website. And I
Okay.
think the charge to the department heads will be, making sure that your website's up to date, making sure that, the consistent information that we want to see on everyone's website, who's in the department, what do they do, what are their contact information, making sure that all that information is up to date, I think is where Tracy was sort of headed with, kind of asking the department heads for, input on what is it that everybody should have on their page, and just reminding folks that, especially given the fact that we've had a lot of turnover, making sure that, those pages are updated consistently. Maybe we look at them once or twice a year and make sure that that they're up to date and the information that's presented on everyone's
Right.
page is pertinent to the point at which we're in. So I think Tony and John have pretty much, done a good job
Great, thank you.
of reviewing what we talked about. So I think we could probably knock this out by the beginning of the year. I don't think it's a long project. I think it's a pretty simple one. And I know, just in
Right.
a quick conversation that I did have with Tracy, that, she's gonna have Susan help us with a lot of that linking.
Right, okay.
So I think we should reschedule a meeting. I think at some point to, sort of just get the final organizational chart. But I think we were gonna wait until we had our department manager meeting to see if anything else came of that discussion
Right.
before we moved forward, but.
All right, thank you all. And just to go back to what John said initially, I just want to make sure I understand it. Is Tracy conducting a monthly or a quarterly managers meeting sometime in December, at which point she'll roll out this quick
Yes.
initiative? Is that
Yes.
the next step in the sequence here?
Yes, so we were
Okay.
scheduled to have one in November, but I think with the holiday coming up, the way that it was scheduled, she's gonna wait and push it to the first week in December.
Okay, so is it likely that the subcommittee would have its second and hopefully final meeting on this in December sometime, or is that going to be too condensed with the holidays and we'll do it in January, or what's your take?
No, my sense is that given the 48 hours, once that meeting is established by Tracy, we just reach out 48 hours.
Okay,
So that Diane can post it, and we'll have our meeting within
Okay.
3 or 4 days after the directors all gather together.
got it. And Diane, do you have a date for when Tracy has her managers meeting? Is that set?
I think she had said December, I want to say it was either the 2nd or the 9th.
Okay,
I'll keep you guys posted once I know when that is.
yeah, can I make one small suggestion? Knowing how these things tend to slip a bit.
Yep.
Not as it relates to this group, but just in general. And with the holidays coming up, although this may not be a normal holiday year, but that said, it might not be a bad idea, John, to, at least as a placeholder, maybe find a date, sometime the week of, just thinking out loud, Diane said that the managers meeting will either be the week of December the 1st or December the 8th. I'm sorry, the 30th is a Monday, on the 7th is a Monday. So maybe the week of the 14th, just thinking out loud, maybe try it as a placeholder to see if the subcommittee members can find a date and just, put that in pencil somewhere for everyone so that it's locked in. And if you have to move it, you can move it. But if we wait until after the 9th, whenever Tracy has her managers meeting, what's going to happen at that point. People
Yeah.
are going to start bailing out of town, and pre-holiday stuff is going to just create havoc. So just food for thought. You might want to just,
I'll reach out with, to
Put
the
something in
entire list. I'll reach out to the entire list and suggest, we free the 12th and the 19th.
yeah.
And
And
then-
that way Tracy can use that as a fulcrum as well, saying to the managers that, look, the subcommittee's ready to go once we have your input. And maybe that'll create some energy among the managing population to do whatever they need to do fairly quickly, knowing that the subcommittee is waiting for them to finish their part of the task, and then we can, finish what we need to do. So, okay, great. Thank you all. Good job in that subcommittee. Appreciate it. And more to come.
Yep. So,
Anything else on the org chart, Diane?
oh no, nothing else on the org chart.
Okay, then let me open it up to other discussion. If there's any other new business to discuss, let me get down the roll call. Diane, anything else that you'd like to address?
Well, I was just going to address the conversation that we had at the last meeting about the FFCRA information that Tony had discussed at quite at length. Let me just grab my notes here.
Yep.
So I went back and looked as far as the required notification when the FFCRA, the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, was established back in April. And it seems like that is forever ago.
Yeah,
April 1st. So the employee rights under the paid sick leave and expanded family and medical leave under the FFCRA was what I believe Tony had discussed at the last meeting quite at length. So I wanted to just circle back, and I had grabbed my notes of when this came out, and I wanted to, I think at the time that we had this discussion last meeting, I wasn't clear on what actions I had actually taken as
Right.
it relates to FFCRA. So I found my stack of papers and all of my stuff that we've gathered as coronavirus information has flowed through. So I, as required, I attached the FFCRA notification to all existing employees on April 16th. That met our notification, requirement, or whatever the word is, at that time. We also posted the notice on our we have two places here at Town Hall that are designated as areas where if we have like our mass labor law posters that get posted every year with all of the labor law information. We have one on the first floor in the copy room, and we have a second one in the kitchen on the second floor.
Right.
So those were posted here in Town Hall. They were also emailed, the notice was also emailed to all the department heads for their own reference as it relates to their own employees within all the different departments. That would include, police department, council on aging, the library, the DPW. And I know we had talked about making sure that each department had kind of a posting area. That's something that I still need to touch base with. Lindsay here in my office does a lot of that coordination for us. So that I still have to follow up on. It was also posted in April up on the website under the Human Resources page. And I think if you look there, it's been posted there since April. So I believe the only piece that did not occur was notifying folks, new folks that have come on board since then.
The open question we had from last meeting.
Yes, so there were probably 6 employees, maybe 7 that have started since April that did not receive the notification that we will attach to the paycheck this week.
Okay,
That FFCRA Act will end on December 31st of this year. And we have not had any employees at all who have come forward with childcare absences or any sort of qualifying issues. I mean, the town has done a great job of, you know, early on, we continue to pay people and leave them on the payroll, you know, understanding that we were working from home and trying to make it work. So I am not aware of anyone who has come to either Tracy or myself seeking any sort of entitlement for leave under this act.
Good.
Yep.
So I feel like we've done most of what was discussed, and I was able to, like I said, go back and I found my notes of what I actually did, because I knew this was going to be an important issue, and I wanted to make sure that I took notes of what action I did with a copy of the notification. So so I feel good about it. I think we have 2 things that kind of came out of it, you know, making sure that those other departments have a posting area so that they themselves, you know, when these types of things come out, we can send them to the department heads and the department heads can post them at their sites.
right.
And then just also giving the new employees a copy of it. And then the last thing I'll say, and then I can open it up. As it relates to putting the FFCR language in our personnel policy manual, which was what Tony really was, you know, wanting.
That was the original question, right?
Yes. So I'm happy to do that. I think what I was hoping to do was to update the personnel policy manual with just the, you know, the link, if you will. I think that's how we had landed on what we were going to do. And I'd hoped to do that along with the fact that Juneteenth, the June 19th holiday is being added as a legal holiday. And I don't have a status update on that yet because it requires notification to the unions, the police union, as well as the DPW union. And our town council was in the process of reviewing those CBAs, those and making the certain notifications. So I'm happy to still put the language in for the FFCRA, but it will terminate in December.
All right, Tony,
Unless it's extended.
Yeah, Tony, that was your original question. Are you comfortable with that?
Very comfortable, very comfortable.
Okay. Great, thank you. Diane, the only question I had is, I know that you mentioned that you are retroactively attaching the FFCRA to the pay stubs of all the new employees who weren't part of the original distribution of the paperwork. I'm assuming what that means also is that any other new employees who stop between now and December 21, it'll be part of their new employee package.
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, no, it won't be, because they have to work, they have to work for the town for a minimum of, I think it's 30 days. Employees who have been employed for at least 30 days prior to their leave request may be eligible for up to additional paid leave off. So come November, so it would be 30 days. So they would be eligible if they,
Yeah, well, if it
we've got
expires
60 days.
December
We've got 60 days left. I kept thinking
Yeah.
we only had 30
Yeah.
days. So we got 60.
Okay.
So yes, it will be included in new hire packages.
Okay, great, thank you.
Excuse me, one
Tony, go
point, it may very well be extended beyond the December 31st.
Right.
The way
Likely to
things are looking
Likely.
nationally. So.
Right.
Okay, great
And
job
cer-
on that, Diane, thank you. And Tony, thanks for bringing it up in the first place.
And Tony, certainly if we get notification that has been extended, we'll comply with all of the notification requirements.
I don't doubt that. at least.
Who knows?
Okay,
Who knows?
thank you for that discussion. Tony and/or John, any other new business to address? Anything else that may have popped up on your screens?
Not
I
a
have
thing.
none.
John, you're good as well?
Yes.
All right, thank you. The last order of business then is to look towards our next meeting date, which would be on Monday, the 23rd of November, which is the Monday of Thanksgiving week. So let me first ask, going down the roll call here, whether, at least as of now, that's a date that works for everyone. Diane, Monday, November 23rd.
I believe it works.
Tony,
That'll be fine.
John,
No problem.
okay, it's good for me as well. So let's, Diane, if you would, if next time you communicated with Chief Lucy, if you let him know that we are, at least as of now, scheduled for Monday, the 23rd of November, which is the fourth Monday of the month.
Okay,
And that if for any reason he's got issues because it's Thanksgiving week or for any other reason, please let us know. But looks like we'll have a quorum, hopefully.
okay,
And it looks like we'll not have any action with the subcommittee between now and then, since we need to do it after Tracy has her managers meeting, either the first or second week in December. So what that means is that we have no to-dos other than our normal agenda, at least at this point, going
Okay.
into the November meeting.
all right.
No other trailing issues. So with that in mind, if there's no further discussion, I'll accept an offer to adjourn. A motion to adjourn, excuse me.
Motion?
Second,
Second.
we are adjourned.
Okay.
Thank you all. Good to see you.
Have a good
Thanks
night.
very much.
Yeah,
Take
you as
care.
well. Talk to you all soon.
Thanks.